October is still alive in the memory of every Toronto Blue Jays fan. Not as nostalgia, as a reminder of how close this team came. Game 7 of the World Series. Rogers center roaring. The feeling that finally, history could turn in Toronto's favor. And that's exactly why the winter brought so much hope. The roster came back strong. The competitive core remained intact. The conversation on every Canadian sports radio station sounded the same. This team has a real structure to get back there. But now, even before the first pitch of the regular season, cracks are starting to appear. It's not a crisis. Not yet. But it's also not the calm spring training start many people imagined. Because 3 important names in the pitching staff are already carrying question marks that are too big to ignore. And it all begins with a simple update. Too simple. Ben Nicholson-Smith of Sportsnet brought 2 updates on March 6th. The first one almost sounds reassuring. Almost. According to manager John Schneider, both Shane Bieber and Yimi Garcia had a strong day of throwing. All the reports are good. That was the quote. But then comes the detail that changes the weight of the conversation. Neither of them has a timeline to appear on the mound in games. And more importantly, both will begin the season on the injured list. Silence. Because here in Canada, fans have already learned one thing about the start of an MLB season. When a team starts saying, "we'll see," it usually means no one knows exactly when the situation will resolve. And in Shane Bieber's case, the story demands attention. The issue began during last postseason. Fatigue in the right forearm. Nothing structural showed up on the MRI, which of course is a relief. But there's context that nobody in baseball ignores. Bieber underwent Tommy John surgery less than 2 years ago. A tired forearm in a pitcher who already rebuilt his elbow ligament isn't automatically alarming. But it's also not something teams dismiss easily. It's the kind of situation organizations handle week to week. No timeline, no date, no rush. And that last part is exactly the point. Toronto doesn't want to take risks. Because when Bieber is healthy, he changes the balance of an entire rotation. But there's a second problem hidden inside this conversation. And it might be even more immediate. Yimi Garcia, the 35-year-old veteran, underwent elbow surgery in September to remove scar tissue. A relatively common procedure. Recovery is usually predictable. Even so, he will also begin the year on the injured list. And here the issue isn't just health. It's role. Garcia isn't just another arm in the bullpen. He's the type of pitcher who enters when the game is on fire. A tight 7th inning. An 8th inning with a runner on base. The kind of moment when Rogers' center rises to its feet. Those are the moments when Garcia usually appears. Now, that role is empty. And bullpens don't function well with holes in the middle of the hierarchy. But hold on for a second, because the story doesn't end here. There's one more piece in this equation, and it changes the entire calculation. Trey Yesevich, the rookie who caught attention late last season. The update about him also came from Nicholson-Smith. And it sounds curious. Yesevich's next appearance in spring training might only be a live batting practice session. No game, no official innings. When asked about his role, Schneider was direct. Toronto still sees him as a starter. Good news. But here's the part that changes everything. At the beginning of the season, the plan might be to limit his outings to something around 3 to 4 innings per game. Not 5, not 6, 3, maybe 4. And now everything starts connecting. Because there's another name already completely out. Bowden Francis. Tommy John surgery. Season over before it even began. So let's organize this math quickly. Bieber starts on the injured list. Garcia too. Francis is out for the entire year. And Yesevich may only pitch half a game. Now pause for a moment. Because this is where a question appears that very few fans are asking. Who's going to cover those extra innings? Because every time a starter exits in the 4th inning, the bullpen has to absorb the rest. And when that happens repeatedly in the first weeks of the season, fatigue shows up fast. Very fast. Of course, the main rotation is still solid. Kevin Gausman is still there. Dylan Cease as well. Jose Barrios continues to be one of the team's most reliable arms. And Cody Ponce should occupy an important role at the start of the schedule. That core keeps the structure intact. No doubt. But modern baseball rarely works with just 4 strong starters. Especially in April. Because April still is cold weather. Pitchers still building rhythm. Games that turn into bullpen battles. And when the bullpen starts working too much right at the beginning of the season, the effect shows up later. July, August, September. The entire league has seen that movie before. And fans in Toronto have too. But there's another side to this story. Because depth has never really been a recent problem in the Blue Jays system. There's talent there. Young arms. Pitchers waiting for opportunity. One name starting to appear in these conversations is Braden Fisher. Maybe it's too early to throw heavy responsibility on him. But moments like this often reveal who is truly ready to take the next step. And that's one of the most fascinating parts of any spring training. Sometimes a team enters worried about injuries and leaves discovering unexpected solutions. But be careful with too optimistic a reading, because the pressure Yesevich puts on the bullpen isn't small. 3 fewer innings per start could mean 2 extra relievers working every time he pitches. Multiply that by a few weeks. Now imagine that happening while Garcia is still out. The ripple effect appears quickly, even in deep rosters. Still, there's a nuance here that might deserve more attention. Yesevich is still young. Limiting innings early in the year isn't just caution. It can also be strategy. Teams do this often with promising arms. Preserve them early, unleash them later, especially when October is again a possibility. And that word matters a lot in Toronto right now. October. Because after getting so close to the World Series, nobody inside the organization is thinking only about April. The season is long, and protecting pitchers in March can mean having arms available when the games truly matter. Even so, there's a psychological detail here. Canadian fans are patient, but they're also attentive. When 3 important names begin the year with some kind of physical limitation, the tone of the conversation naturally changes. It's not panic, not yet, but it is vigilance. Every medical update gets analyzed. Every bullpen session becomes news. Every comment from Schneider receives extra interpretation, because this team has already proven it can go far. And when a group proves that, expectations stop being theoretical. They become real pressure. But let's return to the central question. Does this change the Toronto Blue Jays' status as a contender? Honestly, not yet. The core of the rotation is still strong. The lineup remains dangerous. The roster structure is still competitive. But there is a small difference between a comfortable contender and a contender managing risks in March. And today, Toronto is a little closer to the second category. None of this means the season started crooked. It just means the first month will require adjustments. Bullpen working more, rotation carrying the weight, depth being tested early, and maybe, just maybe, revealing a few names that weren't even on the fans' radar yet. Because every season has that moment. That point when an unexpected player steps in and changes the direction of the narrative. But until then, Toronto's eyes remain on 3 names: Bieber, Garcia, Yesevich, and on the question that nobody can fully answer right now. How long until all of them are truly ready? Because if that answer comes soon, the Blue Jays remain exactly where everyone expected them to be, among the contenders. But if those weeks turn into months, then the conversation changes. And it changes fast. Now I want to hear from you. Blue Jays fans who follow every detail of spring training, every bullpen report, every medical update. Are you worried about the start of the season? Or do you believe the roster depth can carry the team through this first month without major damage? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because one thing is certain, the season hasn't even started yet. And Toronto is already dealing with questions that usually only show up in the middle of the summer. Baseball.